Thank you for the programming. I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
It's been a while since we've done a Mount Rush moment show.
Dude, when you hit me up on that, I was like, oh yeah, we used to do those.
God, how fun these were. Like making this list is like, gosh, how have we gotten away from these?
I know, because it could be.
I don't even know what these are.
Because it could be anything, and that's what makes it kind of fun. And we did these on these breaks in between, like any sort of competition stuff. It's like, all right, rest on this and that. That's how we filmed it.
How did we not do one for every week of semifinals? Gosh, we failed.
Oh, we got.
You guys have no idea how much we have failed you.
I'm sorry.
All right, if you're new to the show, this is what we call Mount Rush moments. And the story is, and Bill and I were broadcasting back in the day, we'd have this long day of awesomeness, right? I'm like, oh, we were working so hard. It's like, it was great, right? Working
hard, talking about fitness and hanging out.
Working hard, talking about fitness. And then we're at dinner. Me and Bill got our Stellas. We're not talking. Everybody else is talking. We have no idea how they're still talking. But we're like, hey, what was your favorite moment of the day? Like, or your top 4 or whatever. And it's like Mount Rushmore, right? Because there's 4 heads on Mount Rushmore. It's like Mount Rushmore, pick 4. Like, what we should do is we should make a segment called Mount Rush Moments, where we just pick our 4 favorite of whatevers, or our 4 least favorite or whatevers, or our 4 best these things. And we have some fun, and we encourage you guys to join with us. What were your favorite 4? What are some? And today's topic is 4 things Bill and I separately. I don't know what Bill picked. He doesn't know what I picked, but we've probably picked one of the same as our track records go, oddly enough. And 4 things you would like to see come back to the CrossFit Games. And you can pick anything. You can pick a movement. You can piece a piece of equipment. You can pick an event, something that, some type of coverage, some type of game, whatever. But, I don't know what you picked, but my list spans pretty much 4 different fields or genres, so to speak. I don't know about you.
I went, well, first of all, no, Kelly, you're not. We do this all the time. Which side? Are we on the right side or are we on the wrong side?
Sorry.
There you go. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
I didn't know what you wanted, and I purposely didn't ask. Because I didn't want it to guide what I was basically going to go, look, I'm just going to kind of let it flow. And if it's wrong, I'll change it on the fly. I'll work it like that. But I just kind of was like, oh, this thing and that thing. And it was I didn't think, okay, in this particular segment, I wish that these things would come back. And then this particular segment, I just let it free flow. And it was actually kind of interesting because I'm definitely all over the board with it, I think.
Yeah. Caden. What's up, dude? You getting ready for the games, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Getting ready for the games. What's up, everybody? Stefan, Kelly, Mike. Saw you there being a dick earlier.
Ass poking the bear.
Poking the bear. Bruce. Draw your dagger. Would get some cool photos during semifinals, by the way. Shout out to you.
Yeah.
That was great. Heidi. Wow, hello. There must be nothing going on with all you people here hanging out with us. Hey, before we get into it, because I always like to pull a random thing out. Last time we talked about the old sub, Jack. Good name. It was yesterday or today. Let me pull this up. 24th. We've had, the BMI index.
Yeah, stupid.
How stupid it is.
Stupid. I'm very obese.
Yeah, I am obese based off this category. And what medical professionals would use in like physicals or schools is something called the BMI index, which is like your body
mass index.
Body mass index. And all it would do is take like your height and your weight and then put you in some type of category. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, me being 6'2", 215 on the BMI scale,
fatty.
I would be considered like obese.
I know. So am I. I'm obese at the 6 foot range. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But this was just recently. BMI alone will no longer be treated as the go-to measure for weight management. An obesity medicine physician explains the seismic shift taking place. Now this is a short version. Like this was just a recent thing. There is some things down here where it was like linked to racism.
What, BMI?
Yeah.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Well, it was like, okay, the BMI index was based off like white people in like the 1900s or something like that. So they would label it that. But whatever their reasons is, I'm so glad they're getting rid of this finally.
Yeah, we had a girl here, one of my female trainers. Young kid, wanted to go into the Air Force Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that held her out, I mean, there were a couple other things, but one of the things that held her out was not what she could do physically, but they said that her BMI was off. And this girl is not. I mean, it's like me. She's like me being fat for the BMI. And because of that, she was like, nope, you're not allowed to go further in the process. And I'm like, you guys just lost a stud. That was dumb.
Dude.
So dumb.
Oh, it says right here. I know some of you put that in the comments. Body mass index is a measurement taken by dividing body weight in kilograms by height in meters squared. The metric was developed to estimate a normal body weight depending on the individual's height, given that taller people tend to weigh more. Yet it totally didn't work.
So because it doesn't work, and obviously, like, it's the fact that you could literally look at people and see that it doesn't work, but hey, we're going to keep using it anyway.
Yeah.
The doctors are all going to use it. The metrics are all going to use it. The standards are all going to use it. Yet everybody knows that it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
It's great. Yeah. So I'm glad they're getting away from that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason started it. I don't care. But yeah, fun random story for the day, but relative to what we do.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, what I hope this doesn't do is like get people off the hook for being freaking out of shape and obese. Which it never did. I don't know. Let's just use the eye test. You need to lose some weight. And then a blood test, maybe. You know?
Maybe.
Let's just start there. Let's just start with what actually is happening, not this equation that is equivalent to the horrific handstand push-up knuckle to elbow ratio thing we did back in the day. What's up, Sarah? How about we just I don't know, draw your blood and let's see what actually is happening inside your body along with maybe, I don't know, an eye test. Not like your eye test. I can look at you and say, it's like, hey, we got some things to work on.
Well, I mean, it's not that hard to do a body fat check.
Nope.
I mean, it's not that hard. Even if they do, I mean, if you want to do three spots, or if you want to do 7, or if you want to do 9, or if you want to do 12, or if you want to do the dunk tank, I mean, you don't need to get that crazy with those to be relatively in the same area. So if you're off, whatever, 2-3% up or down, like you're still going to be within the realm, and you know exactly what it is. Not something where it says that you, Chase, are obese and me, Bill, is obese based on this stupid standard that obviously isn't even remotely close.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And it's just so dumb.
Yeah, it's
the time it takes to measure someone's wrist, because this is one of the other ones that they would use for BMI, like the wrist and the height or whatever. The time it takes to measure the height and to weigh you on the scale, I could have pinched you 3 times and got a body fat test. Come on.
Yeah. It's like and I tell you what, like getting people's body fat percentages was so hard, not so hard, but somewhat tedious 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhat is like, it's when it was like only calipers.
Yeah.
But now they have these like body scans.
Yeah.
You just like stand on this thing and like hold 2 handles. Have you seen the ones where it's like a suit?
Okay, that's a little over.
It's a little extreme.
No.
Have you ever done the underwater one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that one.
Yeah. Those, I mean, all of those things are really, really cool. And, people will go to say that they're incorrect because, well, you didn't pinch at the correct place here, or
Right.
you're not hydrated enough. So the handles that you're holding are not going to be right. That all of that might be true. It's not going to get you a dead on exact body fat. But what it does is give you a much better reading than what BMI would do.
Yeah.
It gives you it they aren't even remotely in the same realm. BMI versus any body fat test or anything, whether you're hydrated, not hydrated, miss the pinch on the belly or do it, not at an angle you went the wrong, like all of the things.
Yeah.
You'll be just fine using that and getting that reading versus whatever the BMI mass index bullshit would be.
Yeah. So, good news.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not going to be the sole measurement, which is great, but I don't know. Maybe they used it back in the day because people were not as fat as they are today. So they're like, keep you in check. And then,
but wait, you would think if they would have made it back in the day, though,
right?
That it would have gone the other way.
It doesn't work.
I mean, like we have all the overweight people now. We didn't have it then. So how could a healthy, fit person then? Who did they measure? You have to be 5'10" and weigh 135 pounds or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a small person.
Now, I also think the BMI is just as worthless as the scale is. Right? And I feel like we've gotten further away, but gosh, I mean, there was a time, I think this is when I was in high school, but it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, where like every woman thought they needed to weigh less than 100 pounds.
Totally.
I'm like, what?
Well, that's like if I just could lose 10 pounds.
Just gotta lose 10 pounds. I'm like,
I would instantly be amazing.
Like, do you know?
Or even the guys, dude. Guys, if I could just put on 10 pounds.
Right.
I'd be so bad. I'd be such a good football player.
It's like in college, the most I ever weighed was 170. And
really?
Yeah, dude, swimmers, man.
Man, you were skinny.
Skinny.
Wow. 6'2", 175
pounds ago.
45. Holy shit.
Yeah. 6'2", 170. Skinny.
Crazy.
And then I was like, oh man, I just want to break 200. Why? I don't know. It didn't. And then when I did,
hold on. I know exactly why. How much did your dad weigh?
My dad is like 245.
Yeah, see that right there. You're like, I gotta get over 200.
As big as my dad.
I gotta be like my dad.
Yeah.
200 is the man weight. Like for me, I don't want to be 200. If I hit 200, it's like, ooh, okay. I'm starting to fluffify myself a little bit right now.
Shannon, what's up? Mama Medeiros in the house.
Yeah.
She says Justin's BMI says he's been obese since grade school. With muscle mass used to make me so mad. Yeah. And he's probably still obese winning the CrossFit Games 2 years ago.
Well, I don't know, man. Sevon said he was looking fluffy.
Justin looks like he could be a bouncer in the movie Roadhouse.
Oh, because of the mullet. Yeah.
Just because of everything.
Totally.
If this CrossFit thing doesn't work out, which, it's off to a good start. It goes to be an extra in Roadhouse. I think they're redoing it.
They are, dude. That's terrible.
Who is it? Do you know?
No. But I think I saw a commercial that had that. Like, I wonder if they're going to bring out like pleated acid wash gray pants with like the metal tipped belt and some cowboy boots and like a wife beater shirt. Like that's going to be the outfit for the bouncer right there.
Yeah.
They got to be pleated pants. Pleated.
So awful, but so great. When our first gym I was ever at, when we first opened, we watched Roadhouse. We would watch a movie like once a month. We had like a movie night.
Yeah.
And I would create like a drinking game for the movies because, we're all young and single. And so that's what we did.
Awesome.
And it was great. Like you had to check, like if there was a roundhouse from Swayze, that was like a full beer. It didn't happen as much as you thought, but it was good.
But you really wanted it to happen?
I did, yeah. Good times. All right, team. We are here to give our Mount Rush moments. The category is 4 things or top 4 things we would love to see back at the CrossFit Games this year. And this doesn't coincide with Dave coming back. That was a whole nother show. If you guys want to see our opinions and our thoughts, our last episode about our thoughts on Dave Castro coming back was there. You guys can check it out. But this will be in the spirit of, I don't know, I don't think times are changing, but before we get to maybe our predictions of what could happen, we just want to see is like, it'd be really cool if this came back.
I think
it'd be really cool to see this again.
Yeah.
So play along with us, please. I've already seen some things in the chat. So as you guys, we're going to go through 1 through 4. Bill and I will go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Feel free to throw in your one as we go through. I've already seen some in here, which are great. I'm going to pick one. Gosh, you guys are commenting a lot. Thank you so much. This is great to look at. Where is it? This is going to kick off. Oh, this is Jules's first one. She says, bring back the flute.
Is that like the Yaz flute?
No, bro. It's this.
Oh! Jules! Wow. I totally forgot. How the hell did we forget about that?
I didn't forget about it.
Jules, thanks. I totally forgot about it.
Bill, you would forget about it weekly.
I know.
You're like, all right, my number one is, and I'm like,
That's because we'd get excited. I'd be so excited.
oh, all right. Let's start with number one. Bill, would you like to lead this party off?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear your number one.
Okay. So these are, like we said, in no particular order. I want to see something like, doesn't have to be exactly like, but something like the Killer Cage.
Ooh.
And I think what I'm thinking is kind of like the Ninja Warrior scaffolding where they have to go through some of the grip stuff, crawling along the bars that way. I think that intertwined with some lifting, even if you wanted to do that as the gymnastic and then a weightlifting part, like they did that in the Killer Cage. They had the bike, they had the and then the front squats.
Okay.
And then they had the gymnastic down and back with the monkey bars. I think something like that would be super fun.
Killer Cage was so great.
It was so, dude, the coolest thing about that one, I mean, other than the races itself, was the fact that when they put that monstrosity, when the Rogue team put that thing out there, we're like, you have got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And what was nuts was I remember I was helping out with emceeing on the floor during teams. And dude, I have never seen so many people on the tennis floor. You had judges, you had teammates, you had camera people, everyone underneath the thing as everyone's moving. It was nuts. It was nuts. But that thing was just so big. It was awesome.
It is so great. So great. Yeah, Killer Cage. That's a great one.
Like if they did like a side by side rock climbing grip one, you had to kind of traverse one way, do something that said traverse back the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
I was talking with JR about that the other day. It's like versions of. And I was like, what if we could combine the legless rig setup and the short ropes, but they had to Killer Cage it like Tarzan?
Yeah. I mean, they already played that in the obstacle course. They had
to Battleground, but it's like super close together. I mean, like, you have to extend and hold.
Oh no, I think it's rad. I mean, like that would be a next iteration of that, you know? That'd be cool.
Look at these outfits, man. Oh, look at that rig.
Look at those people.
Yeah, Killer Cage. I'm glad you picked that because that was on my list, but it didn't make the final four.
Ah, okay.
So I'm glad you picked that.
All right.
You picked it. All right. My number one, I will go with, let's see. I will go with a piece of equipment. And I'll start here. But what I want is, I want to see the Snail come back.
I figured that you would say that because of what you put on the picture.
Because of our thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that one? What'd you like about that?
The event itself was cool. Climbing Snail, I thought was awesome. I really enjoyed the way it was set up. I thought it was a cool piece of equipment, right? Seeing it out there was pretty sweet. The way it was unique at the time, right? Pushing it forward, and it punished you if you stopped because it would like roll back a foot. I just thought it looked cool. And you just see people trying to figure out this thing. And it's been a while. I think, what, 2016? We have it on.
Yeah.
2016? I mean,
Big old
throw it out
barrel.
there. We've seen like the barrel kind of like pull version at Chaos. We've seen that. But the Snail, just watching that trickle down the field, it's different than a sled where I feel like, you know, the grass or the turf could make a difference. And it was just like, yeah, here's a barrel full of sand and just push it that way and race through. I'd like to see it make its way back to the games.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
As long as it's not some weird floppy, flap, canvasy, sloppy, like push this sandbag over and it's all like loose and sloppy. Like don't ruin that. That was of all like the weird, I say they're all odd objects, but I would say weird objects because we've had, remember the sled that kind of looked like the Formula One race setup?
Oh, that murdered people.
Right. Well, it depended on what part of the grass you were on, right?
Oh, right.
It depended if you rode it up on one skid or not. They had football tackling dummies. They've had
those are cool.
That you remember the it was at the soccer stadium. It was they were dragging a sled. It was like a rickshaw. What was that one?
Rickshaw.
Like yeah, it was like behind you, and so
the plow.
The plow, that's what it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember what the thing, the name of it.
Yeah.
But all of these strange contraptions, all of them, you had to deal with what the surface was that you were on.
Yep.
But the Snail, you don't. Yes. Same thing with the pig. I mean, like the pig, even if you get a little push out of it, there's a little bit of a slide, but not much. But that Snail, it just was what it was.
Times now.
Yeah.
Right? 3 or 4 times since it unveiled in 2015. 2015.
Yeah.
I think it's time. Let's leave the pig at home and let's bring the Snail back.
Dude, you gotta climb along the sled, and then you gotta push the Snail back.
Oh,
dude, you get it intertwined. Oh, that would be good.
Ooh,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah, I liked it, and I like to see some people struggle with it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, are we not big enough for the Snail? Enjoy the rest of your games because you're good at everything else. All right, that is our number one. We got some great things in here. I see some that are actually on my list. I see some in here that are on my list. You guys are doing good. All right, let's go to number 2.
So we've always had a swim in the games, and I've always liked that they've added that component. The one that I liked the best was the in and out of the ocean where they had the kettlebells that they had to use.
Yeah.
Because it was a swimming and a weightlifting. Every time that they've done, the majority of the time that they've done swimming, it's either been swimming and another monostructure. They had to paddle, they had to run. There was sort of like a pull-up, push-up, air squat one that they did, kind of like a swimming. There was some running in that one too. But that one with the on the beach with the weightlifting, I would love to see swimming with some dramatic weightlifting, some good weightlifting, whether it's just clean. I mean, like whether it's on the sand or whether they're made of platforms or however they wanted to set it up, but like having to really work holding your breath, with the swimming, and then coming back and actually, there it is, that one. The fact that the greatest thing about this, especially for CrossFitters, is everyone now at this point was able to swim, but it's now when you are tired having to go back into the water. And it was that. It wasn't like you couldn't just get done through it one time. You had to go there, use the muscles on the weightlifting pieces, and then get back in the water. And now I think you had to swim around the pier. So it was like an in and out, then around the pier to the other side.
Yep.
And dude, that was murdering.
Yeah. I like that. I like putting a swim in there and then having to do certain things within that.
Yeah.
But I think they got in and out of the water multiple times too.
On this one?
Because I think it was buoy, dumbbell, kettlebell thrusters, burpees in the sand,
Yep.
pier burpee or kettlebell burpee,
And then another I think they did another in and out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The team event that year was just horrific.
I did. Yeah. I think Adrian actually did that. Where do I put that one back up? That's where he had to do that stupid sled around the.
Well, the team swim this year, it was like swim and then deadlifts with the worm.
Oh, yeah.
The hard thing about using sandbags after a swim is that the water starts to seep into the sandbag. Now, they can easily hedge against that, right?
Well, fuck, don't use a sandbag. Weights.
Yeah, or use weights, yes. Or use weights. But, yeah, that was a cool event. The fact that they made the new burpees in the sand that year.
I mean, I just loved, I mean, the lifeguard in me absolutely loved this, but the fact that, dude, it was such a good race. Like, they were being pushed in the water. There was actually some decent surf that day, which was kind of nice. That was kind of cool. The run that they had to go from the water and they had to sprint up the sand to get to the finish line was awesome. That sprint was great. Going from sand to having to hold on to those dumbbells and moving those things, or the kettlebells and move those things around.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. But I want to see another one like that. Not a run, swim and a run. Not like a triathlon. I want to see swimming, and then I want to see some weightlifting style movement.
Okay.
I think that would be it's time for that to come back.
I like that. All right. I will switch gears, and I'm going to go to basically something that's happening on site. And during the events, obviously, there's the broadcast and there's what's going on. And then what they had at one point in time, in like kind of peak times, was they had the Day at the Games desk. Now, the Day at the Games desk has been still kind of around in lesser and lesser ways the last couple of years. But in like 17 and 18, the Day at the Games desk was in the beer garden.
Yeah.
On site, and it was just a huge desk barricaded off. It was like college game day.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was college game day. It was 4 or 5 people at the desk with the host. Everyone in the beer garden just watching the games because they had TV screens in there. People just like drinking and having fun. They would march the athletes through. And if you're sitting next to Dan Bailey, all you had to do the whole time was just like people would yell to you to get Dan's attention so they could take a picture with Dan. That's pretty much like all I did at the desk every time. Can you get a hold of Dan? And but having that Day at the Games desk back in the beer garden amongst the people in the community, I would love to see that again. I know they've had that intersplice in between events, and what it's basically supposed to do is fill the time between events. All right, event 1 is done. We go at the Day of the Games desk, a recap of that, a preview of what's to come. Maybe something happened earlier that day in teams or masters or something, and they just fill the time. Right? And I would love to see that back in the beer garden.
Yeah.
Where it, traditionally has been.
So us older folks that are on this stream here, our podcast, there was the Jerry Lewis telethon way back in the day where they would do like muscular dystrophy stuff. And I loved it as a kid because it would be like 48 hours of nonstop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it as that there would be the Day at the Games would be basically there from the start of the day. And the only time that they're not on there talking and doing stuff and interviewing people and talking to the sponsors or whatever, talking about programming and who's going to do what and bringing up the analysts or doing whatever they're doing is when the live show is going on. And
right.
I think, dude, that would be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
One, for the community, because the fact, you're right, when it's in the beer garden like that, like having the community as the backdrop, they want to be on TV too, so they're going to be there and they're going to be involved and they're going to be yelling and they're going to be talking. Yeah. I think that you're right. That would be really fun.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And I think it does great things too, is like it connects you directly with the community around you. Like I said, it's like college game day in there, which is sick. You can bring in all the, big leaders in this community, whether they're personalities in the sport or ex-Games athletes or affiliate owners or different people in different departments. Nicole Carroll will get on there. Dave Cash will get on there. Don Fall will hop on there. Sponsors that are huge partners in the show. there's just so much we can play with that. Now, the thing is, like, we know that that isn't for free and it's a thing to pull off, but I would love to have it back, right? I'm working in a world of like thought activated requests at the moment without any like real world consequences, but having the day at the games desk, filling all the time in between events, talking to everybody underneath the sun in the beer garden, I would love to see that back.
That would be sick. That'd be really cool.
All right, 2 down.
Okay. This is something actually kind of in that vein, I guess, that has come up as of late. And I mean, obviously, they're depending on who this is coming from, and I'm just kind of slowly leading into this. As these comments about this particular thing comes up from certain people, you can feel that it's like, oh, that's just kind of hype, and they're just trying to rub some people the wrong way, or they're trying to jab some people or fire some people up or whatever. But there was an element of broadcast that was going on back in the day. We're talking like 14, 15, 16. The behind the show, the behind the scenes at the games, where like Sevon and the team would go out and they would be talking. It wasn't the games competition. It was watching the athletes getting ready, watching them getting warmed up, talking to them before. What do you think about this event? I remember when Sevon was asking people, okay, so do you think the softball throw is an event? Do you think that they should really do that? How are you going to do with the softball throw? And actually seeing what the athletes are saying about that stuff, because you don't, what you get off of social media, what you get off of interviews. I mean, there was a way that Sevon what he would do it was he could get people. I think I was in this one.
You are in this one.
He could get people talking. He could get past the so how are you going to recover about this after this next workout? Or what are you thinking now that you have to do blah blah blah? He would go past all those things, and I think that that's having this kind of stuff where you get these athletes where you see them like this, not just them kicking ass on the floor, but like right here. This is, I think, something that brings the community into the community of the athlete, the community people into the community of athletes. And I think that's huge.
We can keep going on this because this is mine too.
Dude, really? Yeah. It's just, I mean, so they've been talking about it, and the reason this came up, I guess, in
look at these guys in here.
I know, in front of my face was, we're all on that thread of trying, kind of teasing Sevon to get back out there and do that. And Hiller kind of jumped on that bandwagon, trying to pump it out on social media. And the more I think about it, the more like there is a valid spot for this in our community, so that we can see. It's like, we always talk about the everyday CrossFit or the affiliate community person and the athletes, but it's behind the scenes is what is the glue between, because you actually get to see them. They're like, oh, they're just
it's not normal. It's not the games doc. It's totally different, and I think both have their place in a
100%. Yeah,
I love the games documentary.
Yeah, I mean, like that's showcasing the best of the best. That's recapping the excitement of the games. This is, you get to see the athletes of you get an under the cover look of actually what's going on, because you can always fake it on the interviews and for the show. Is that JP right there?
Yep.
You can always fake it in front of everyone, but like, you can only do it to a point when they're in your face all the time. And that's what Sevon and his crew would do, is they were always right in your face.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're in here somewhere. I don't know where you are.
Well, I'm not in the bus yet. Come on now.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think and it's been tossed around a lot, especially with Dave coming back, and everyone's kind of pushing Sevon to do that. And regardless of what you may think about Sevon in general, but like, he did an amazing job covering the sport in a very guerrilla, raw, real kind of way. And like you said, he would ask, like, his questions are just
well, he pushes you
all, but at the same time, it's like it was almost untethered to, like to ask, do you think the softball throw is a legit event in a YouTube doc is not something we can really do anymore.
Right.
Right? It's
Right.
like, hey, you know, I could only imagine what the behind the scenes would look like in the warm up area with Savon last year. Everybody learning how to do double cross enders or double inner cross enders. What that would look like, right?
I just think that I mean, whether it's him or I mean, whoever it ends up being. I mean, he has a guerrilla style, so he was able to get some really good stuff in there. I think this is in the 50s. No, I think we were in the 40s this year.
Oh yeah,
We 45 to 49 that year.
Oh! I see Ron. Oh, what were you? Was that Dave? Yes.
Talking absolutes in regards to the games. Every year something changes. So who knows?
I think something like that. Whoever ends up taking that, and just whoever of the games team, whether it's Dave. Oh, who's
Does
that
anyone
guy?
do with me?
Ugh.
Yes, I want to win. I'm not gonna lie. I want to win, but that's not the main deal. I'm here with my brother.
What did you
Oh,
whisper
yeah.
in his ear before event one? You came out and you said some sweet somethings.
Like, you're awesome. It'll be great.
I love you.
Strategy stuff, and then that. Yeah,
And I love you.
yeah.
Did you give him strategy?
I think you gave him a kiss on the
And a
cheek
kiss.
too. We're Italian. That's what happens, you know.
He's telling me that out of all these years, everybody bugging him to do masters, that it took his bro.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's how you break down walls. You know, it's family that can do it.
And is it hard work or is it some Gremler genes that makes you a games athlete? What's the
Both.
Hard work.
Yeah. Parents gave us some good genes for sure.
That a year ago is when when I asked Bill, I said, you know, hey man, I really want to try to go to the CrossFit Games Masters in 44. And I said, do you think I could do it? And he goes, I think you can. And here's what we got to do. Day one starts tomorrow. And that's how it
Dun,
happened.
dun, dun.
Right away.
Do you have to get on a plane? You can't just F around. You got to.
No, if you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
If you're in and you want to go, then you're in. But there's a commitment.
Look at that.
God, that's good stuff.
How good did that feel?
That was kind of cool.
That was cool. Now, was he 40, 44 and you were 45?
I was 45, 49 that year. Yeah.
In my head, I was like, God, if you were in that age group right now, there's no fucking way I'm ever making the CrossFit Games. if that's what 40 and 44 look like, which is wild. Like, so was your brother 40 in that video?
Well, he's a year and a half younger than me, so I think he was like 43.
Yeah.
I think I just aged up that year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was 43. I was 45.
All right. I was like, God, your brother's like 2 or 3 years older than me in that video right now. But yeah, that's on my list too, is the behind the scenes stuff. Use a whole group of people, you know, just it'd be cool. And it's a great community addition to the sport that is CrossFit. Right. And seeing all that is like, there's things that people will watch there. And we talked about this last time about just Masters coverage, the CrossFit Games. It's like, I actually would enjoy watching that more than the actual events of the people doing it.
Yeah.
In a little sense. And I think more people would, because like, you know, you're watching people race like, but like, I want to see some stories. I want to see some interviews, some dramas, right? I bet more people watch a podcast. This sounds weird, but like, I think more people would watch a podcast live concurrently, not live concurrently, but with, you know, you or Ron Ortiz or
Alongside.
like the old G's back in the day. And then they would a live event, maybe, right? Total over time. So I like it. Yeah.
I think that would be good.
Be good.
Yeah.
A different way to tell a story of the whole community.
The
Oh, hey, Jake.
the fact is the fact is that as all competition, and there's a lot of people, and this is, I think people need to understand. And I'll say this coming from a broadcast.
Allegra has a question. It's like, how is no one bring up Bill's chops? Because that MFer had those chops forever. That was just like normal.
I was still,
That was the Wolverine.
yeah, I had those from the early days that I was still working fire, so I couldn't have a beard, and I would grow out the chops on my vacation as I was competing, and then I'd have to shave it back off, and I would just have the sideburns.
Yeah.
So that was the deal.
Yeah. Ooh, I like
the-
that. Sorry, Bill. I cut you off again.
Well, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. What Judy had there is competition. When you're broadcasting competition, you're looking to see who the winner is.
Mm.
Like that's the competition. I mean, as far as it goes, like when you're watching the Olympics, you don't see place 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, even though there might be great stories there.
Yep.
You don't see them unless everyone. The only time you would see something like that is everyone is done competing, and there's the one guy who pulled a hamstring, and he's trying to make his way around, and his dad comes running down from the stands, and he helps him run. That's something you can show because you're waiting for everyone to finish. But back to the behind the scenes show, what that would allow you to do is now you get to see all of the athletes and all of the stories that happen.
Mhm.
That's
Okay,
when you get to
yeah,
see
you
that
nailed it.
part. So it's like I don't want to see who's in 5th or 6th place during a competition of the race. I don't want to see that. I want to know who wins.
Yeah.
Because if we're concentrating on the other person, then we miss the winner, and then that's the story.
Yes.
This would give all of the other stories,
Perfect.
which is cool.
The broadcast should cover the story of the entire weekend, which is to find the fittest man, woman, and team on
Like
Earth.
that's the mission.
These can tell the stories of the people that are actually involved in this event.
All of the other people, because there are going to be so many good stories.
Yeah.
So many, and that's the form for them to go to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Last one.
Last one.
We shared. Hey, we shared a. I had a feeling that'd be the one we would land on.
I figured that we would both have that one. I didn't know though. I wasn't. I thought that would be one of those ones that you're like, oh, Bill would pick this one, so I'm not going to pick this one.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Number.
Okay. Oh. Okay. I got one.
Oh. Okay.
I got one. And I
you just leave like a wild card spot as you would be
kind of. Yeah. I have like 2 or 3 up here. So one of them was more of a. I really like at the games when like you can have very different style events that you can't necessarily have at like the regionals or now the semis or whatever, because you have to make sure that all those things are the same. But at the games, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
One of the events that we always talk about that was such a really cool event was the Burden Run. And I think what made that cool was the fact that it had a lot of different objects. So that was one of the ones that I really wanted to say, but that's not going to be my one. My one was in the old days. And they actually kind of did, I guess they kind of did it twice. Remember when they had the world feed?
Yes.
Okay. The world feed was a separate feed that showed everything. It was like a nonstop camera of everything that was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, at like this year, and what made me think about this one is how this year there were events that weren't on. They were like, you coming in with the podcast setup, trying to cover the first 2 events for the team and the individual of like the Linda style.
Mm-hmm.
But what this other one would do, and what made me think about this also was I remember for the Olympics, I was working at the fire station one time. The Olympics was on, and on the website, I could pick the event that I wanted to see, and there would be a camera that was on that. There weren't broadcasters. They didn't need to be broadcast, but I could see everything, every event. So every time that like when as broadcasters, maybe there's not an event that's going to be covered.
Yeah.
It's a light heat. It's whatever. And I know that they kind of do that now, but I mean, hit everything. I liked that. I also like the fact that like that they could, what they do, they licensed out the world feed so you could have other
In 2019.
they could have other avenues of people doing that. That would be interesting, because then you could have these other podcasts. You could have Peter from Coffee Pods and Wads out there doing his thing, talking about it. Not whether he's going to cover it
Mm-hmm.
or talk just as it's going, or maybe it's Brian's doing one, Brian Friend is doing one, or maybe Sevon's doing it, and everyone's watching Sevon and Hiller talk about the things, and they're talking about, I don't know, world politics as Justin and Pat Vellner are battling back and forth. I mean, who knows? I think it would be really fun to see something like that. I mean, how it goes, I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not thinking what it would cost, what it would do necessarily. I just think that something like that would be really, really cool to open it up to more people and more.
Yeah.
I don't know, more takes on it.
I don't think that would be a negative, because I think sometimes people think is like, well, if we open up a world feed that everyone, I think you have to pay to get in license. You don't just get it for free. And I don't think you should get it for free. Like if
No.
you're going to get a worldwide live feed to use for your personal media, albeit YouTube or whatever channel, you should have to pay for something like this, which would be I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be enough, right? You're using something for a week straight that's given to you. It was like, oh, well, then it's going to take away eyes from the normal broadcast. I'm like, guarantee you it's not.
Not even.
Nobody watches end to end of the actual broadcast. Nobody's going to watch end to end of those, let's say, like podcast broadcasts. And everyone is going to come back and want to listen to maybe the broadcast feed for the final heats. Like everyone is going to get theirs. And if you give this world feed out to media outlets all over the world, that's the thing too, is like you said, Peter, and you said, Savan and, Hiller is like, but you give a world feed clean, no commentary, everyone in the world will be able to use this, which means if your goal is to reach 30 million people,
Right.
then sell a world feed from a generic view, maybe a couple camera angles that switch as needed. You just have someone in there, and people in South America can take it and use it on their YouTube channel, and Australia and their YouTube channel, and Siberia and use it on their YouTube channel with two people and a polar bear watching. I don't know if they're polar bears in Siberia, but like you get what I'm saying, is like,
Yeah.
now you have this worldwide net in viewership that, hey, maybe if you're worried about losing 30,000 viewers because you're giving this away, maybe those people that got reached by these outlets come back to your feed. Oh, I want to see a little bit more. Maybe it's like, okay, cool. It's like people like the Savan Renegade podcast side coverage, however you want to, with whatever guest. But at the same time, people also like to turn in afterwards, like, hey, I want to hear the call for that. Or you know what? I'm going to drop here and go watch the final on the real one. Not the real one, the
official one.
Official one. We'll call it that. I think that's genius.
I mean, even if there was someone that wanted to license it and wanted to basically talk trash on CrossFit, but look at how they're doing. Even that, because in reality, no press is bad press. If it's getting shown, it's getting shown.
Yes.
And people will talk. It's the same thing. It's similar to like what Jillian Michaels did. Like, and we had a hard time getting pissed about what she did, because it's like, I don't want to give her attention, because that's what she's doing. She purposely attached herself to CrossFit because she knows that would rile CrossFitters.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, if you have people that are anti-CrossFit or naysayers on CrossFit, and they get the feed and they're talking about that, means that those people are going to be watching CrossFit.
It's
sure,
a formula.
I think it'd be amazing.
That's it seems. However, I don't know the process of doing that.
Yeah.
But if you license it out, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to, like, put your price on it. Because someone is like, hey, we got someone Harsh from India right now.
Yeah.
Harsh, start a YouTube channel and be like, hey, if you pay $2,000 to $3,000, you get the whole feed for the entire week, and you can do whatever you want on your YouTube channel. How many people would tune into your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
It's like, how many people are getting this, right? And you either do it on a podcast or you do your own broadcast style using the live feed. Right? You can either have a world feed, or you can have just like, it's the feed that everybody sees without the commentary. I actually think that's what the world feed is.
You want to know what would be crazy? Is you know how CrossFit is always, we're looking for commentators. We want to try to bring some people in. We got to see what people are doing and see how they're saying. We want people to know what it is that they're doing.
Mm.
Looks to me like you'd have a whole lot of footage of people commentating to see exactly what they look like. What kind of information do they bring? How do they sound? What kind of stuff do they use? I mean, not that I'm trying to get you out of your job or anything like that, or anybody else's, but like that was always, I remember even in the early, that was one of my fears. It's like, this guy worked at what news station? Shit.
The Nazi Man feed.
How do you do that?
Amazing is, who's that Instagram announcer? Bob Menefee.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine, dude? Could you imagine all the crazy memes that you could get out of that guy
Yeah.
calling the stuff on CrossFit, which would do nothing but make CrossFit that much more entertaining and people watching? 30
Yeah.
million people, bring it.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So world feed.
World feed.
World feed. Okay, my last one. I'm reaching back. We did it once. We've repeated it once and then updated it another time. But I want to restart it. And I want to bring back the hopper.
Ooh.
Let's bring it back. Event 1, so there's not a huge implication on the whole weekend, right? Don't do it for the final, Jesus.
Yeah, it's serious.
But I'm sure there's a much better way to kind of like, okay, we've programmed all of these events so far. Now let's go back to event 1, and we're just going to put in everything that we didn't use.
Okay.
In timetables and like there's a way to do this where it fits well enough, but you still get the unknown element. And we just tip of the cap to the very first event ever programmed for the CrossFit Games, which was the hopper.
So do you think that it would be the hoppers rolled on day 1 and it ends up being a day 3 event so that they have time to be able to think about setting up and all that kind of stuff?
Maybe, or they.
I mean, back then they had 3 events, so it wasn't a whole lot of.
All right, I got one for you. Ready? You do it. I'm not going to play this because we make it a fuck it. We probably already got a strike. Whatever, just watch. They do it at the athlete dinner the night before.
That'd be cool.
You got all night to set it up. Now I'm like, all right, rogue workers.
Well, I already talked about them building this stupid killer cage all over again. So
That's true. But
I like that. I thought about that.
athlete dinner night before, because that's when Dave would be like, all right, guys, your first event of the CrossFit Games. And he's like, bring it out, gentlemen. And someone would walk out with like a rescue raft.
Right. Right.
What is this? Or a paddle board. Like that's what the night before dinners were. It was the time to announce the first event of the CrossFit Games. And it was, by the way, it's Annie Sakamoto and her daughter, Dylan.
She just came up to my gym. She was here.
Yeah, I
this
saw
weekend.
that.
Yeah, so cool.
But
all the members were so stoked.
yeah.
It was rad.
And so they had all these different color balls, and it was like rounds, reps, movements, things like that. But yeah, Annie Sakamoto's kid, Dylan, who I think is like almost in college now, picked the first movement of the CrossFit Games.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, bring it back. Do it the night before. And like I said, is like you can catalog everything prior to what we've done, what we're doing for all the next 14, 15 events. Throw in everything that we haven't used in an appropriate time frame, and just roll that hopper at dinner.
I like that. There was an element of that piece that I was thinking about. So, I think everyone liked the chaos because it was unknown and unknowable. You had no idea what you had to do. You just had to start doing stuff. This I hear, obviously you didn't know. Things got picked out. And then there was also, and I think it was 2010, 2011, where all the athletes were sequestered in the back. And they came out and they had it was a 3-minute workout, 30-second break, 3-minute workout where they had to do the push-ups and the climb over the wall. And then they had to do the toes to bar and the snatch. And then they had to do the burpees over the wall and the rope climb or whatever it was. That was the rope climb that went down. Yep. And you didn't know what the workout was. I mean, Dave basically said, your workout is
3, 2, 1,
3 rounds of 30 of these and 2 over the wall, ready and go.
That final, if you guys haven't had that final is so hard.
So hard, dude.
So hot.
But I like the idea of having an unknown element like that where you don't know right before you do it. I think that is, I really do like that. That was another one that was kind of on my list, is something like that. Not necessarily the hopper, which I think would be sick if you could set that up.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
Right? And you can do it in different ways. It's like, okay, for simplistic sakes, it's like, all right, we're going to have 3 different machines in there.
Yeah.
And kettlebells only and body weight movements. Something like there's a way to do it, right? But I just think it'd be cool.
Yeah,
Cool throwback. Maybe save that for the 20-year.
I like it.
Put a what is it? Put a pen in it. Pin in it. Put a pin in it. Bring it back in 3 years. Because what? This is year
I
17.
didn't realize that was Brandon that was the judge.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Oh Dale. Yeah. Brett Marshall.
Yep, there it is. A little butterfly action.
Creator of the butterfly pull-up. You guys just saw that there in person as it was designed. Oh wow. Zach.
So good.
Look at these people. Yeah. All right.
That's good.
I like that. All right.
Dude,
So
I like our 4 choices.
yeah. So go through your 4.
Killer cage, ninja, but upgraded, like ninja scaffolding, something like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I had swim with weightlifting movements in it.
Mm-hmm.
I had behind the scenes at the games,
Yep.
and I had a world feed.
I like that. I want to see the snail. Just want to see it back. It's been a hot minute. I
Yeah.
think it's a fun implement. You can do so many different things around it. And as you said, it's a much more even sled push style deal that doesn't
Totally.
really, not affected by the weather
Grass
or
or
environment.
any of that.
I want to see the day at the games desk back in the beer garden. Get some college game day vibes. Behind the scenes stuff, as we both talked about, and the hopper.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the hopper back for one event. And I believe we all are in agreement, and we didn't want to waste a slot, is bring back events.
Events. Wow, that's great. I didn't say test one time. I actually said workouts. Because I did that kind of on purpose and just went, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go completely wrong the other direction.
Now, I will say this, and I know we've given Boz a lot of shit for forcing us to say tests for 3 weeks, which I thought was ridiculous. And if anyone's comes like, what does it matter what they call it? It's like, then why did we change it?
Right.
There's my rebuttal. So shut up on that one. Not to Boz, to anybody that just didn't like that. So keep the names of the events. Like push.
Oh,
pull.
yeah.
Right? Now, that's one thing I give Boz props for, is that he brought it back. Because in Dave's last games, he stopped naming them.
I know.
He called them like IE1 for individual event 1. EE1. He's like, I don't want to name them anymore. And I thought that was a horrible call. Because you go back to 2021, and we're like, oh, remember this event? And you're like, what was it called? I was like, it was the running toes to bar chipper one, IE10. You don't remember that one? And he's like, no, we don't remember that one. We remember the names though.
Burden run.
Triple
threes.
Triple threes. Muscle up biathlon. Clean speed ladder.
Oh man, like you say, like there's an emotional connection to those names, not IE4.
Midline march.
And I'm surprised that he decided not to do that, because, okay, designing an event, a workout, whatever, when you're programming it, like it's a fun artistic feel.
Yeah.
But remember how much fun we would have in Dubai when we're trying to all like round table the names of all the stuff, acid bath and all those things, however it would come up. That was part of the fun. It's like, well, okay, how do you feel on this one? What are the pieces on this one? Let's give this, here's the name, bam, and then there it is. And you have this beautiful name that covers this kick-ass event. And so now all of a sudden you're attached to it. It's not a number. It's the burden run.
Right. The name, as you said, elicits
It's Murph.
Emotional response. Right, Murph.
Murph. We call it Murph. And when you say Murph, you know exactly what you're talking about. Right. Even though it was called, what was the name of it? It was what was it?
The original?
Body armor.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but like,
still awesome.
Now that we have a connection to a person for it, it's like now you say it and you're like, oh yeah. Murph. That's cool.
We made it. You can go away. Thank you. What was that? was I thinking? The Rescue Randy obstacle course. Like the names are so great because like what else do you call it? It's like, hey, you remember IE2 from 2017? You're like, no.
Right.
Like, oh, it's the thing where they ran with the dummy and the rope climbs. Like first cut.
Right.
First cut. Yeah, you guys remember IE1 from 2019? The old run rope snatch thing is like, no, names. Atalanta. Yeah, exactly.
God, those names and like all the in reality, like it's not like they're
Aeneas.
super poignant names or anything, but it's like now we know what they are and we know the story behind it. Like first cut at the games, dude, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
First cut. Did you make the first cut? You didn't?
Suicide
Bye.
Squad.
Bye.
Yeah, it's great. Strong Man's Fear. I mean, golly.
I mean, come on.
This is great.
No, that's awesome.
All right, team. Thanks for joining us. That was a really fun one. We're going to get back to doing these because these are like the lighthearted, enjoyable ones. And we got something in the works. You guys be ready, but we got a mega episode coming up. I don't know, a couple weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks prior?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We're gonna crowdsource the seating for this, but we're gonna bring in a crew and we're gonna get back to a mega episode bracket style elimination. Can I say what it is?
Yeah.
If anybody copies us, whatever.
Yeah.
Best programmed CrossFit games of all time. We have 16 to choose from.
Which means we've already dumped down to the Sweet 16.
Already down to the Sweet 16. So the episode
Already
won't
there.
take 4 hours.
Yeah.
But we're going to crowdsource. We're going to rank. We're going to bracket them. And then we're going to have a mega episode with some mega people. And we're going to have an elimination style tournament to pick the best program CrossFit games of all time going into the 2023 Nobull CrossFit Games. Stay tuned.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun.
All right, gang, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. Thanks for your submissions. That was super fun. Thanks for the trip down memory lane. We hope to see you guys more and more as these go on. Freaking 112 consecutive viewers. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for support. And hey, what day is it? Is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
I guess we got another day to do something then.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great week, dude.
Later, guys.